Hello, everybody. Welcome back. For today, Ultra Vegito learned the truth about
So last
Jiren
time
and
on Dragon Ball
Belmod.
Super, Ultra Vegito had seemingly gained Jiren as an ally in the fight against the
Until he betrayed
gods,
him.
murdering the angel Margarita in gruesome fashion before then sending the former Pride Trooper to train until the time was right. But with Universe 11's god already dead, in today's manga, we find out how Ultra Vegito gets his vengeance on Belmod. But before we continue, today's video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. With Tokyo Treat being a monthly Japanese snack subscription where you'll get up to 20 of the latest, most exclusive, limited edition and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks that are only available in Japan, like Sakura Pepsi, Japanese sake Kit Kats, and many more. And Sakura Co. being another Japanese snack box that'll give you 20 traditional and authentic artisan Japanese snack items, including Japanese teas and one special Japanese tableware with your box every month. Sakura Co. helps in partnering with local Japanese snack makers to continue to share Japanese culture and traditions that have been passed down for over 100 years. But more on these at the end of the video. So our story continues with Ultra Vegito having just blown up the Pyramid of Power, with Jiren still inside, trapping him for seemingly eternity. While Jiren, with his hands grabbing his skull intensely, panics in confusion and anger, yelling, "Son Goku, you treacherous animal! How? Why would you do this to me? I was on your side. I told you I would help. Why? Why not just kill me? Why trap me to a fate worse than death, Son Goku?" While Ultra Vegito, still outside, then begins to stare into the center of his palm, as if he too cannot believe what evils his own hand was capable of, until finally letting out, "Sorry, Jiren, but in order for you to be of use to me in the final battle, I'm going to need you to become stronger than your wildest dreams. I know you have the potential, but 10 days is far from your true limits, warrior. What I have done will confuse you for some time, but I know firsthand, only with anger and vengeance in one's heart can one truly become powerful. Use your hatred of me to get yourself to the next level, just as I have used my hatred of the gods to skyrocket myself to where I am now. You'll be safe inside there from even the eyes of Zeno and the Grand Priest for now, but not forever. So I'll see you soon, my friend." Revealing to us finally the true intention behind trapping Jiren inside. As finally, in the palm of Vegito's hand, it is also revealed the summoning button that Jiren had given Vegito last chapter. A button that will allow Vegito to call upon Jiren when the time is right, and in the inevitable final battle. With his job done in Universe 11, Vegito then flicks his fingers and instantly mobilizes his angel staff, as he simultaneously thinks introspectively, "Belmod, that crafty clown. How interesting that he was the one behind murdering Jiren's family. But why? Not like I can ask him now. Damn, Jiren was just a little too trigger happy with that Hakai. Must have picked that up from me."
Yeah.
But not done yet with his contemplation, Vegito then looks up into the sky and continues, "But I can't help but think there's something more to this story. His last words were, 'Not all is how it may seem.' And to be honest, though I've taken Toppo's destruction energy, it hardly compares to that of a fully fledged destroyer. I want Belmod's energy, and I guess there's only one way to get it now." And with that being said, Ultra Vegito then places his hand out to his right side and instantly opens up yet another portal, letting out,
Yep.
"If the Belmod of this timeline is gone, I'll just find another in a different one. Besides, I need my questions answered." And just like that, Ultra Vegito then slowly enters the portal and finally leaves. Eventually Vegito leaves the portal and lands on the ground with a quiet tap.
What the?
Eventually Vegito leaves the portal and lands on the ground with a quiet tap. On the other side, eventually Vegito leaves the portal.
I have no idea why it is doing that.
God immediately begins observing his surroundings
There we go.
as he notices.
I guess it's an audio glitch that he didn't catch.
Where am I exactly? There doesn't seem to be anything around here but barren soil. Did I
Yeah.
arrive too late, perhaps? But as Vegito then brings himself to walk further along, he eventually reaches the edge of a nearby cliff face. Now we're talking. Would you look at that? This is where Jiren the Grey was born, huh? As over the cliff face, Vegito and ourselves are treated to a view of a primitive village on the ground, hidden amongst the mounds of dirt and few and far between vegetation. As Vegito continues, "So I am on time. The village is intact, and so are its inhabitants. Now where is that damned clown?" Meanwhile, down in the village, we see a number of adult warriors, each practicing and sparring with another, honing their skills, just as Jiren had described of his village and family back in the Tournament of Power. Yeah! But speaking of Jiren, we eventually do see our first sight of the little fighter, as he extends punches with vigor under the watchful eye of his master, Jiren. Standing tall with his Namekian-like green skin, he raises his arm and shouts enthusiastically to Jiren, "That's the way, young Jiren. Faster and faster.
No.
But do not forget to keep your guard up." As the prepubescent youngster looks back with a smile of admiration and responds, "Yes, master. Got it." Ultra Vegito in the meantime watches on with a visible smile and his arms folded, taking in great pleasure at the sight of such a joyful Jiren, commenting, "Oh, look how skinny Jiren used to be. Hard to believe that runt turned into the powerhouse I know now. And I guess that green man is his so-called master, and he can't stop yapping about. I wonder how strong he is." But suddenly, before Vegito can enjoy any more of the scenes down below, Vegito senses the presence of an ominous evil energy and killing intent. Eventually, Vegito then tries to spot where it even is coming from, fearing the worst with who it could be. "What the hell is it? All I see is damn mountains!" Ah, there you are. But eventually up in the sky, Vegito finds out exactly where the strange presence originates. And in the air is of course none other than Lord Belmod, god of Universe 11, cloaked up and hooded as if to hide his identity, giggling in the air as he says, "So finally, the time has come, young man. Hopefully, you will thank me for this when you're older. But the ritual of the divine starts here. Universe 11 will finally have its next god of destruction to bring our mortal level to the very top. Remember this day well, young Jiren." As Vegito, realizing who the figure is, then grunts out, Just on time, aren't you, clown? Ritual? What is this makeup caked freak even saying? Time to get some much
So he
needed
intended to do this.
as Belmod looks down menacingly and yells out one final time, "Say your last words, Jiren. Godhood awaits you." He'll be saying goodbye to nobody, clown. Huh? But just as Belmod readied himself to slaughter Jiren's village, as he was supposed to in the original timeline, a rugged voice calls out from behind him. What on earth? Who could? And as the panicked god turns his head, 3 familiar fingers with even more familiar rings are already seen perched on his shoulder perfectly. Who the devil are you? As shockingly, perhaps not to us though, Ultra Vegito then appears right behind Belmod, with curiously 2 fingers already on his forehead, readying an instant transmission as he lets out, "Let's move a little away from here, shall we, Destroyer? I think you're one clown I don't trust to have around these kids." Where have you taken me? As Vegito then moves a short distance away from the village to the surprise of a furry creature watching on from behind. Invaders! As we are then treated to an image of a young Topo reacting in pure fear to the sudden arrival of Ultra Vegito and Belmod. 2 figures he had not yet met at this point, but because Ultra Vegito had met Topo in the future, he was then able to use instant transmission to travel straight to his location. These guys look like trouble. I must go get Mother. She'll deal with them. She'll deal true justice. As Topo then swiftly escapes with his tail between his legs.
Literally.
Belmod, though, who is both outraged and taken aback by this sudden stranger manhandling him, smacks Vegito's grip off himself before jumping back to gain some space. As he lands, he then yells out, "Who the hell are you? Do you have any idea the trouble you've just got yourself into? How dare you touch me with your filthy mortal hands?" While an unfazed and still smirking Vegito looks back, still holding his hand up from where he had grabbed Belmod just moments earlier, and replies, "Mortal? You know, I might have had some trouble figuring out your identity, but with that kind of addressing, you sound awfully like a god. I know that ridiculous paint on your face was a dead giveaway, but you wouldn't happen to be Lord Belmod, God of Destruction of Universe 11, would you?" What? How does this punk know who I am? And that we're in the 11th universe? Only one man here should know anything about that. Leaving Belmod in a slight state of panic as he reveals at least one in this village would know this kind of information. But done with the games and theatrics, Belmod then opts to remove his now pointless disguise, throwing his robe to his right and saying, "Alright, so you aren't as stupid as you look with that ridiculous hair. So, who are you supposed to be then? A warrior from Gitchin's village? Or just one of his busboys? Though, you do seem a little too skilled for that." But Vegito, now sporting a more serious and focused look, hunches his head forward as he responds quickly, "No, I'm a friend of Jiren's, and I have a question for you, clown, that I was hoping you'd be able to answer for me. I just wanted to know, exactly why are you planning on murdering that young boy's entire village and master before his eyes while leaving him alive?" What the? The question, of course, leaves Belmod shocked once more, as he thinks instantly to himself, trying his hardest to not outwardly show it. This can't be! Knowing the face of this universe's god of destruction is one thing, but how could he possibly know the ritual plan? Not even Margarita knows of what I'm doing right now. I knew there was something off about this guy. Why? Why does this freak speak like he knows me so well, though? But the clown god soon then changes his look to a fake smile, trying his best to win them into warfare as he calmly replies, "Haha, I have no idea what you're talking about, mortal. What a strange fantasy for such a lesser being to come up with. I didn't even know your minds could create such stories. But regardless, I will not be questioned by a lowly
Oh, he ain't
mortal.
lonely, that's for sure.
Prepare to be erased for wasting my time. Maybe if you can survive this, I might have some answers for you." And following this, continuing his confidence, Belmod then brings out 3 cards, each surrounded in her Kai energy, and much like her leaves with her arrows, these are far more dangerous than they seem. As Belmod lets out, pick a card, any card. One touch of these, and you disappear forever, young man. Let's hope for your sake, you're good at poker." As instantly, Belmod then tosses all 3 cards at once, leaving no angle to dodge whatsoever. Meanwhile though, as come to be expected of Ultra Vegito, he just stares down the attack without fear, just thinking in his head, I guess I can't blame this god for trying. Not like he would know how futile this is. And so, Ultra Vegito remains completely still, as the Hakai cards reach within touching distance, despite his earlier experience with such a technique. But at the last second, in a display of perfect mastery of Ultra Instinct within his Ultra form, Vegito, almost in slow motion and with the slightest of movements, dodges every single card with the smallest margins for error, ultimately leading to a massive explosion on both sides of Ultra Vegito that blows wind and debris across the emotionless Vegito, swaying his bangs in all directions as he coldly lets out, "Guess I'm better at card games than I thought, clown. And here I thought the house always wins." What in the name of Zeno? Preposterous! No mortal from this planet should be able to move like that! Leaving
Yeah,
Belmod
from this planet we're
understandably
talking about, though.
gobsmacked, witnessing not only a destroyer's attack be dodged like child's play, but also through use of what seems a divine technique of the angels. Continuing his state of shock, Belmod begins uncontrollably stepping back slowly, until suddenly a lone stone on the ground appears right behind his heel unknowingly. Wait, what? Instantly causing the god to trip back and fall, seemingly too scared to even regain himself until... At the last second, a hand we know all too well appears from out of nowhere to grab Belmod by his destroyer garb collar, saying, "Don't worry, I've got you, Ronald McDonald. You're not going anywhere." As soon as the scene zooms out, we see Ultra Vegito, now with half his shirt ripped from the explosions around him, standing dominantly over Belmod, with noticeably his signature Godslayer blade extended outwards, as he stares into the eyes of Belmod and says, "Listen, clown, I know even you're clever enough to know when you're utterly outclassed. Tell me the answers I desire, or die here and now. And trust me, there's no coming back from my idea of a death. You aren't the only one who possesses the power of Hakai." What? This mortal knows the abilities of the destroyers too! Leaving Belmod horrifically cornered, as he can't even call this stranger out on his bluff, given his earlier display of what was obviously Ultra Instinct, leading him to respond back, okay, relax. I'm telling you what you want to know, tough guy. Jeez, it's not like it's a secret anyway. Hardly more of a secret than knowing I'm the god of the 11th universe. Just let go of me, will you? And so Ultra Vegito then obliges, sensing that Belmod is as powerless as any timeline's version of him. As Belmod, now dejected, then calmly sits down with his legs folded before beginning. Listen, I don't know who you are, but you're right. I did come here to kill off Jiren's village and family. But you should know, it was for good reason. For the good of this entire universe. As Belmod then looks into the distance and continues. Whoever you are though, it does seem you are familiar of the destroyers, so I spare the intro to who we are. But we destroyers, along with another set of gods in this universe, known as the Supreme Kais, maintain the mortal levels of our respective universes. The mortal level of a universe is affected by many variables. Sometimes that level is determined by the number of planets that exist, or the strength of its destroyer. But mainly, it is down to the overall life force and power levels of the beings that occupy it. Supreme Kais create life and watch over it for millennia, but only a destroyer can put the wheels of motion into play to create powerful life forms. But a destroyer can only live so long, and not just any being can become one. A god of destruction must by default be one of the strongest, if not the strongest within one's universe, and must be able to compete with destroyers of other universes too. Not only to raise the mortal level, but to sometimes simply just survive. Destroyers can be pitted up against each other for the enjoyment of the Omni King. The loser can often find their universe erased. But finding such candidates to become one is not easy. So we destroyers have a ritual that we use to create such candidates with overwhelming power, and just enough coldness in their hearts that they could take up the mantle of God of Destruction and perform the heartless tasks that come with the job. Huh? This sounds familiar. Like the Tournament of Power. Did Zeno hold similar competitions for the gods also? I remember Whis telling me of 6 universes that were already erased. It couldn't be! But as Vegito momentarily ponders, Belmod recommences. And don't look at me like that, as this ritual is the same one all gods of destruction use. By killing off the family and friends of a candidate while young, we break all the bonds that get in their way. We leave them to grow strong on their own, often seeking power and vengeance to eventually kill whoever slayed their family. Or sometimes, they grow strong just from the darkness that fills them afterwards. It's a proven tactic that has worked time and time again. Jiren, undoubtedly, would have become unsurmountably powerful by the same mechanic. In fact, it is all foretold already by the...
But he never wanted to become a god of destruction in the original timeline. He turned that down. He only became a god of destruction to stop Vegito, but after learning the truth of why he was doing it and stuff, and all that, we caught up to speed. So, technically, you picked a candidate that never wanted to be god of destruction, I didn't know, and stuff. Yeah.
Oracle fish beforehand. Every destroyer has access to one, and is given the prime choice for the next candidate using them. What? But on the instant that Vegito hears this, even the cold Saiyan is taken by surprise, as he continues, "You monsters! You damn gods really had sick enough minds to come up with something that stupid? Nonsense! I don't believe that for a second. There's no way every god does that. Tell me the truth!" But Belmod, who doesn't even show a sign of being unfaithful in his story, just scratches his head with a smile, thinking back as he replies, "Huh? The truth? Look, kid, I'm not lying. This is the route all destroyers take, whether you like it or not. It's been this way since the beginning of time.
Wow.
Even I went through the same exact thing. It wasn't my village though. It was my wife, Harley."
What? So you're telling me your wife was Harley Quinn? As a shocker. Wow.
Man, I miss that chick. But since you know me by name, I'm going to guess you know the others too. The rat god, Kitella. You know that little annoying midget? He erased a young warrior known as Ganos's entire species while he slept, and then took him in after promising him he'd train him to one day avenge them. He's actually who I was basing my plan off. Then there's Jin, that blockhead with too much power for his own good. Murdered the son of a prodigy known as Gaiba. Cold-blooded thing that honestly birthed a real monster. When the day comes that Gaiba takes up the mantle of destroyer, I don't know if any of the universes will be safe. And then there's even the laziest of us gods, Beerus. That fool just sleeps and sleeps. Last I heard, he's going to get some lackey known as Frieza to destroy the planet of a powerful fighting race, leaving behind one sole survivor, the Prince, who is said to have not only an exceptional power level, but also the darkness in his heart to make a fine destroyer. Wait, what did you just say, clown? But now, things have hit the fan with Belmod's last piece of information.
Wow, so Frieza was actually chosen. I don't know if this is revealed in the real story or not, but Frieza chosen by Beerus to destroy Goku's planet, leaving Vegeta to be the next destroyer. That's a big twist. True, whether it's true or not, like, dude. How
As the
turn
once
events.
completely oblivious Vegito now realizes everything. As he questions more, Beerus was behind Planet Vegeta's destruction? No!
Oh, Vegeta's
No!
planet.
It can't be! Instantly causing Vegito to grab onto his skull with both hands as his brain begins to go through a million thoughts and his emotions reach a boiling point that will tip him over in an instant. Vegeta! I was chosen from the very beginning to be the next destroyer! My planet, my father, Beerus is the one who got Frieza to do it? That can't be! Huh? But Belmod, who has no idea why the mystery man before him is acting so erratically, only responds in blissful ignorance. Vegeta? Come to think of it, that might be who he was on about. He said it so long ago. The Oracle Fish him told him well in advance. He's a kid though, so I don't know what you're saying about you being chosen. You may be able to Hakai, as you say, but that doesn't make you a destroyer, kid. Belmod, still relaxed, thinking he's done nothing wrong, then closes his eyes and smiles, ignorantly persisting. He probably heard it wrong from the fish knowing that fool, though. Those Saiyans in his universe are a bunch of tailed dumb apes. Nothing like the sort in Chompa's universe. If it were me, I would have got rid of them instantly long ago regardless. Haha, no universe needs trash like that around. Not a single one of them would ever amount to anything.
You sure about that?
God.
Are you sure about that?
You.
Vegeta had amounted
Instantly
to a lot
causing
of
Vegito
things.
to grit his teeth in anger, looking at Belmod. His veins beginning to bulge as he struggles to control his inner rage and need for violence. The planet itself quaking from this inner battle within until... You, Beerus, and all the gods are the same! None of you can remain! As Vegito's anger inevitably then explodes viciously, causing him to rush in at Belmod like a demon. And in a flash, the fused Saiyan grips Belmod's neck with both arms, immediately choking him as the god can barely say a word. Hey! Cut it out! Stop! But soon, the real reason for grabbing Belmod's throat comes clear and quickly, as Vegito's left arm indiscriminately begins absorbing every cent of energy from the cloud. As Belmod, realizing squirms one last time. What? Stop! Stop! I told you the truth! I told you everything! But just like in Vegito's timeline, Belmod once again doesn't get the opportunity to finish his final sentence in the living world, as his eyes go completely blank, now energyless, dead, and never to bother the young Jiren in this timeline. And just like that, Vegito coldly drops the dead god straight on the floor without a thought, his head bowed in darkness as he remains deathly silent. It's unclear if his rage has subsided or if he is still battling with himself over what he had just found out. But not even a few seconds later, the emotionally charged Saiyan breaks into tears once again. Tears of what seemed like rage, as his teeth remain rubbing over each other, and even the red veins of his eyes begin to spread wildly. Buh, 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 Beerus! But in the end, it all becomes clear, as with a roar that even the Grand Priest and Zeno would hear, Vegito roars at the top of his breath, screaming out the name of the god that ultimately betrayed him. The name of the god he spent 10 years regretting that he had killed, not knowing all along that same god looked on his entire species as disposable. Huh? What is that? What is this dark energy? As from some distance away, the sudden power is immediately sensed by Jiren's master, Gichin. Jiren, stand back and go inside. Something bad has arrived, young warrior. As Gichin then places his arm in front of the scared future Pride Trooper, as if implying he will now go face the monster known as Ultra Vegito. But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Beerus in the comments down below.
That was a lot of information. I thought I would be able to get surprised at this point. Nothing would surprise me, but that... If that is true, in the original canon, Dragon Ball Z, that Beerus actually had Frieza do that. It's just messed up. The way they choose God. Like, bruh. Well, that's why Vegeta was training with Beerus was training with Vegeta. Because he was supposed to be the next god of destruction of that universe. Wow. Just wow. I'll see you guys in the next one. I need to take some time before the next one. After that one, like, wow. I'll see you guys in the next one when I can. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. And leave a like if you love this theory.